Yeah.
Well, let me ask just one more question. It's very quick, but I think important, and I just want to do a service to you and your background. But can you tell me who Cheryl Lowe is, and then also, in a wider context, what Memoria Press is?
Yes. Well, I met Cheryl in somewhere around 1990, 90 through 92. We were both involved in sort of a rebellion that was going on here in Kentucky, of a very unpopular education reform measure that the legislature had passed, and we were both in opposition to it. I sort of became the spokesperson against it, and we actually did defeat it, interestingly enough.
Hmm.
But but we realized we had a lot of the same ideas. And talking about what you're against, you have to talk about what you're for and why this thing that you are criticizing is bad. You got to know what the good is in order to know what the bad is, right?
Right.
So we started talking, and we realized we were very, I think both of us had started to read some of the literature that was coming out of this new classical education thing, and she was right on top of it. And in fact, by the time that I first met her, she had written the Latina Christiana program, which is a beginner's Latin program. And so we started talking, and she found out um, I was a philosophy, had a philosophy background, and she wanted to put out books on the trivium, right? Latin, logic, and rhetoric. Well, my background was in philosophy, and I had already started actually doing teaching a class on traditional logic at the first classical school that I started. And so she wanted to do those programs. And so we put those together, and those were the first three programs that Memoria Press had. And they were immediately successful. And there was already by that time a market for classical material. But Cheryl, she was a mother. She was a science teacher at Eastern High School here in Louisville. So formally, she had science degrees, but she was really interested in language as well. And she was just a very intelligent, very humble person, but she was very determined. And so she wanted to start a school. So I started teaching for her also, and then she hired me on full time, and we started Highlands Latin School, just as basically a homeschool cooperative. And she always had this simple wisdom, and everyone was sort of in awe of it because she could take a really complex subject and explain it very simply. And so at Highlands, she would give a weekly, or I guess it was a monthly, coffee hour where the parents would come, and they would just sit there and listen to her. And it's so impressive to hear this person who's able to put these complex ideas into very simple terms that you could understand. And that's what she did with her programs. And I have always admired that and tried to do it myself. And of course, her son, her oldest son, Brian, and his wife, Lee, they now have sort of taken over that mantle. And Brian has that same cut to the chase, simple outlook about things. You come to everyone in our company, we've got probably over 60 employees now, and everyone in our company knows if they've got a problem, they can go to Brian Lowe, Cheryl's son, and they can put the problem before him, and he will come up with a solution in a matter of minutes. It's like, why didn't I see that? It's so simple. And Lilo, his wife, is the second coming of Cheryl Lowe, and she's the one who sort of runs things now. And she has that same quality that Cheryl had, and she's very admiring of Cheryl.
Hmm.
Is really very consciously kind of try to sort of carry on her tradition. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
And then where can we find you and the work of Memoria Press?
Yeah, memoriapress.com. That's Memoria, no L at the end, memoriapress.com. We also, now what I do now is I'm provost of Memoria College. We offer a Master of Arts degree in the great books, and we have some really great professors in our program, and we have really good students. The level of learning that has come, I mean, a lot of them are former homeschooling mothers who did classical education with their children, and they got the education they never got, and now they want to go further with it.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of our students are from our former homeschooling mothers.
And you can audit your classes too.
Yeah, you can audit there's one of our core courses that you can take, Introduction to the Liberal Arts. You can audit that or audit any of our one credit seminars, which cover all different kinds of things.
As I said before we started to record, I chose classical education because I knew it was going to force my children to give weekly presentations, and so I wanted them to be not scared of death or public speaking.
Yeah.
And once I found out that it wanted me to read books, I knew providentially by God, he allowed me to choose the correct path for this one. So I always say that as boys we tend to look up to the heroes that we can aspire to be, things like Superman, Batman. But as we grow, we still need heroes, and they're the people that teach us and encourage us to grow. And I just want to let you know that even though we've just met today, that I personally regard you as a hero, and just thank you for the work that you've put out, the articles that you have that I was able to go back and read, something that you wrote in 2009 that was super impactful to me. Or again, even those book recommendations where I didn't think I wanted to read this, but all of a sudden now I'm telling everyone about this book. So I greatly appreciate you, and I thank you for your time very much so.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's very humbling.
All right, folks, that's it for this one. Next time, sadly, you're stuck with me and Tony again, but you can always go to caveofthecross.com and check out all the other books that we've done. Scroll to the middle of the page. All the books are there. Click on the thumbnail. It'll take you right to that episode so you can watch us in order. Find us on all the normal spots. Thank you again, and have a good one.
See you.